Welcome to Vape Radio, the voice of the vape space, and your source for everything you want to know about the business of vaping. Whether you're a brick-and-mortar location, developer of e-liquids, or online marketer, you can learn from the first and the largest educational providers in the country with your host and founder of VapeMentors, Norm Bauer. Hey, Norm.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is show number 54. It's still April, and we've got a lot to talk about in this wonderful world of vaping. I always want to introduce you to some of the major resource partners that we have, so I want to share with you a little bit about Venture Capital. If you're looking for money to grow your business or to get new equipment, ramp up your marketing inventory, or expand your space, these are the guys that you want to talk with. For as long as I've been in this business, and especially in this industry, in vaping, I found that getting a loan was next to impossible. Banks, forget about it. They're going to turn you down, and going to family and friends can be a little bit challenging. But Nick Bentley and Venturi have funded dozens of stores, both startups and for expansion. If you have a shop now, you don't even need good credit. Nick and Venturi recently teamed up with Kevin Harrington, a name you might know as one of the sharks on one of my favorite TV shows, Shark Tank. They do something that few companies in the vape space do. They help fund startups as well as expansion. And how fast can they move? Well, how's 24 hours? Is that quick enough for you? Give them a call at 844-VENTURY. That's Century with a V, 844-836-8879. Tell them you heard about them through Vape Radio and get their latest report on vape shop owners that are doing it right in this growing industry. Just go ahead and go to VapeMentors.com/resources, and we're going to go ahead and hook you up. So today we have a theme. We actually had a theme on the last show, and we're going to have a theme on the next show. Today we're all about e-liquids because this e-liquid market is growing like crazy. We've obviously seen a huge growth in the brick-and-mortar stores that went from about 1,500 to 2,000 back in 2013, and here it is 2 years later, and we've seen probably a 3 to 4-fold increase. But we've seen a more exponential growth in the world of e-liquids, and the challenge is, guys, is that a lot of people are not doing it right. They are not doing it in sanitary rooms, and as importantly, they are not doing it with high-quality products. So I have a very special guest in the studio today. His name is Tom Schrier. He's Vice President of Business Development and Sales at Alchem, and they're the manufacturers of NicSelect, so you might be familiar with NicSelect. I've been fortunate to have known Tom for some time. We met last year at ECC, and I'm proud to call him a friend and an associate. And so, Tom, welcome to Vape Radio.
Hey, Norm, nice to have you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about this mysterious world of nicotine because, you know, when people throw stones and criticize the vape space and the e-cigarette market, a lot of times they talk about the distinction between what's addictive and what's not. And, of course, tobacco is inherently not that bad until you light it, but a lot of people think that nicotine is really a very, very bad component. So maybe you, as a professional, can educate people about what nicotine is and what nicotine is not.
Sure, Norm. Nicotine gets a bad rep just exclusively due to its relationship with tobacco, the fact that it is in the tobacco itself. Nicotine itself is not a carcinogen. It's not on the list of over 70 carcinogens on American Lung Association's website. It is a stimulant like caffeine, but other than that, it's not a hazardous product.
So most nicotine, I'm guessing, is coming from tobacco, but I understand there's also several other places that nicotine can come from.
There are some other natural sources, vegetables, and you can also manufacture nicotine from a chemical synthesis.
All right, so let's talk about the quality of nicotine, Tom, because this is your arena, and obviously there's a big distinction between what makes a good quality and what makes a not-so-good quality. So would you share with us a little bit about, you know, how you know if a nicotine is coming from a good source and whether it's blended with the purity that it should have?
Well, the quality of the nicotine, it's all going to come down to taste in the finished product. And a very pure, a very highly processed nicotine will result in minimal flavor addition to the finished juice. Bad nicotine will impart flavor and odor and off notes to finished products, to finished juices. Our material it's a pharmaceutical grade material. It's very ultra pure. It's greater than 99.8% pure nicotine. You want an ultra pure material so that you have the best flavor profile. There can be other additives we've heard rumored in the marketplace that will artificially influence the lack of color in the nicotine. Nicotine itself is naturally an oxidative product, so if it's exposed to oxygen, it will start to yellow slightly. So that's normal, that's natural. And if you have some nicotine that's clear, even if you leave it in the sun for 2 days, then there's a good chance that there's probably something in there that shouldn't be in there that's keeping it from oxidizing.
Most excellent. So it sounds like you shouldn't really know that there's something else in there. It's kind of like there's a lot of things that you make with a base flavor, whether it be e-liquids or a lot of other things, but you really shouldn't taste the base flavor. You should really only taste the flavoring that enhances it. Is that a fair comparison?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the flavor. In these e-juices, it's going to be all about taste. And really the only thing that should be coming through is the flavor component itself.
Okay.
The other ingredients are propylene glycol and glycerin, which don't have any flavor. And the nicotine should not be negatively affecting the juice.
All right, so one of the things that I've noticed for the time I've been in this industry, which is about 2 years, is that people used to have a much, much higher concentration of nicotine in their vaping liquids. And it seems like the trend has been dropping. What do you see from both the U.S. market, and if you can speak to the international market, I'd love to know that as well, whether this is a U.S. phenomenon or whether we're seeing it across the board.
Yeah, I don't have too much insight on Europe, but in the United States, it's definitely the nicotine concentration in the juices are definitely coming down. I think that might have to do with there's more and more people that are involved with these RDAs and dripping as opposed to the tanks. And I'm told that when you're dripping, you can't go above 6 milligram nicotine concentration in the juice, or else it's just too much.
Yeah, I've seen that before, and of course certain levels of nicotine are better for blowing smoke than others, and same thing with the concentration of PG and VG. So it's really gotten to the point of where this industry has become very scientific, where you depending upon how you vape, depending upon what you're looking for, you really have to develop the formula that works for you, which is what's fun and what's amazing about it is with all the thousands of different manufacturers and probably the multiple thousands of different flavors out there, it truly is a buffet that you can kind of mix and match and find exactly the right combination of nicotine and PG and VG and flavoring and taste that you want until you find just that right flavor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a combination of flavor and being able to produce more cloud. And consumers are also becoming much more educated in the difference between propylene glycol and glycerin and what they each do and what ratios they're looking for in their juices.
All right, so I'd love to talk about what you see out there in regards to the sanitation requirements of providing a really, really good high-quality liquid. And what I'm referring to is that, we used to joke that 2 years ago or longer, people literally made this in their kitchen sink. They made it in their bathroom. Today, there probably are some people that do that, but the reality of it is that they shouldn't be. And a lot of times people claim that they have a clean room, but it's not really a clean room. Can you speak to the fact that the sanitation involved in creating a high-quality liquid, what is the cruciality of that time? Is it really very important, or is it just something that is nice to have or preferred to have?
Well, I think it's sanitation along with safety, along with prevention of oxygen, really. All three kind of go together in when you start with the pure nicotine and go all the way down to the juices. The more you can prevent oxygen from coming into contact with the pure nicotine or the blends or even the finished products, the better of a finished product you're going to have at the end of the day. Sanitation is going to be critical. White rooms are going to become necessary if they're not already necessary. Just like in the food industry or pharmaceutical industry or the dietary supplement industry, it's prevention of cross-contamination. It's prevention of incorporation of foreign matter or bugs or dust or dirt, what have you. It's going to become more and more important as right now there's many brands in the marketplace. And what's going to happen in any other marketplace is there's going to be consolidation of brands, and it's going to be the brands that focus on quality and the brands that focus that do all the right things that are going to be elevated, where all of the others are going to fall by the wayside, and it'll happen, and it's all it's kind of like a natural selection situation that will happen. The bad or lesser actors will be weeded out or forced out because they're not going to be producing as high quality juice as everybody else on the marketplace at some point.
I totally concur with you, and we're actually seeing this whole evolution, a little bit of Darwinism in action as we speak, because there's a lot of what you would call small manufacturers that are just doing small doses and small batches, and they really can't compete on a larger platform. But what used to be an industry that could have been started by amateurs, I'm not going to say by accident, but without a lot of forethought, are now being pushed aside by people who are doing this with intention, who are doing this with a lot of money, and they're doing it with the seriousness that I think that this industry demands. Because right now, what kind of regulatory body actually oversees the production of nicotine? Is there anyone that's kind of monitoring production of such I'm going to call it a potentially hazardous material?
Oh, yeah. Nicotine is a pharmaceutical grade product. There's a USP monograph for the product. Our facility is inspected by the FDA. Our facilities in India are inspected by the US FDA on a regular basis. And their testing requirements are in place and must be met, as well as the pharmaceutical GMPs are in place and must be met. Now, these are very stringent GMPs, much more than would be required for a food or dietary supplement, probably more than what's going to be ultimately required for this industry as well. But the nicotine itself, the nicotine that we sell into this market is the same nicotine that we sell into the pharmaceutical industry for patches or gums, like NicSelect gum.
I'd love to talk about the hazardous nature of nicotine because for those of you out there who are listening who think that anyone can get into this and you can start manufacturing your own stuff, I'm going to say that from a very ease of entry standpoint, it's potentially possible. But I'd love, Tom, for you to speak about the hazardous nature of nicotine because it is very caustic. It can be damaging, and can you kind of speak to where some of the caveats might be if you're handling nicotine products?
Yeah, absolutely. The pure nicotine in the 100% form, or in the industry they call it the 1,000 milligram per ml form, is a toxic product. It is very dangerous if you get this material on your hands or on your skin. It can hurt you badly, and so it's critical to be have all the proper personal protective equipment, in handling of the pure nicotine. And really, there's only certain people should be working with that material because it is so toxic. But once you make that first blend, once you cut that percentage down from 100, below 14, but let's just say 10%. After you make that first 10% cut, then the danger really goes away. It's really diminished. The solution to pollution is dilution.
Yes, indeed.
Once you get down below 10%, then you can take it and pretty much anybody can set up a situation, hopefully preferably a clean room area, where they can continue to dilute it down even further and add in the flavors and make their finished product. So as this market grows, I think it's going to become ultra critical that the people that handle the pure material, are very serious about what they do, are very professional about what they do, follow good manufacturing practices, work in clean room environments, white room environments, and to that end, we've actually added our own facility where we have a fairly large blend tank in a very controlled environment in an FDA approved facility, and we have a white room where we are we're doing the blending, and we have nitrogen purging on the tanks, and it's a very controlled environment, and then we drum it off in these white rooms. And now we can do bigger volumes to handle the bigger guys as they grow, and we can do up to 275-gallon totes now.
Excellent. So listen, I want to get down to the final minutes here. So I'd love for you to maybe share a little bit about NicSelect's story without going obviously into the entire history of it. But how did you guys come up with such an amazing company, such an amazing product, and what in fact makes you distinctively better than some of the other nicotine out there in the marketplace?
Well, I think what makes us better is that we've been at it for 5 or 6 years now. Brought into it by the pharmaceutical industry, and then this market kind of took over and really grew the volumes exponentially. But we've been through the mill, so to speak. We've been through the problems. We've been through the issues in production, in scale up. This is a hard product to work with. It's a hard product to make. It's difficult to extract it and purify it, from the tobacco leaf. So there's been issues. We've gotten over them. We've grown. We've increased our capacity, and we've scaled up. And then we worked on packaging, and we worked on everything else that goes into it, so that by the time somebody gets a bottle of our pure material, it's perfect. It's clear as you can get. It's sealed with hermetic foil seals, and it's capped. And the overpacking is amazing. And it meets all the DOT regulations for a Class 6 toxic material. So we've done everything that has been necessary to make a great product. We have reformulated on our side. We've added in purification steps, and we've improved the packaging so that now we have the purest product on the market, and we hope the best tasting product.
Well, the truth of the market is that this industry is very dynamic, and if you look at how new it is, it's only a handful of years. We're going to interview another gentleman shortly who's been doing this since about 15 years ago, which was very, very, very early in the game. But if you look at how far we've come in the last 3 or 4 years, we're obviously a growing industry. And again, on behalf of myself and Vape Radio, we're very proud to have you on as a guest and to share this information because, Tom, we're all about education. We really want to empower our audience, whether they're here in the U.S. or overseas, and we want to make sure that they know that the quality of nicotine is important. We highly respect and endorse what NicSelect is all about, and we're very, very pleased to have you on here as a guest and certainly as a supporter of the show. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Norm. I appreciate it.
Excellent. All right, so before we go ahead and cut to the break here, I want to remind you that there are some restrictions, there are some liabilities, and I want to make sure that you know that insurance is something you do need to think about, and don't wait until it's too late. Business is always risky, but protecting yourself from frivolous lawsuits can be costly, and that's why we teamed up with Calco Insurance. Since 2009, they've been specializing in our business, the vape space, and 98% of all their clients are people just like you. They offer a general liability policy, which includes coverage for manufacturers, importers, distributors, and retailers. And did you know that you can be sued by your customers for illnesses that they claim you caused? Oh, my God. Calco can protect you from health hazard threats like cancer, heart disease, and pneumonia. Safada members use Calco, which is how we found them. If you're opening a vape shop or if you're paying too much for insurance, contact us here at Vape Radio. We'll introduce you to their team of pros. Just go to VapeMentors.com/resources, and we're going to go ahead and share that information with you. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Vape Radio, the voice of the vape space and the #1 worldwide source for information and business for the vaping community, streamed directly to your phone and tablets. To be part of our growing VapeMentors community, head on over to VapeMentors.com to learn more, catch up on our past shows, or learn how to grow or start your vape space business. Do not go away. We're going to be back with our next show shortly.